Very good afternoon to all our Body Mind Soul Live Talk followers. Once again, it has been quite some times that we have our last live talk. And yes, welcome. A very good afternoon on a very beautiful Saturday. There are lots of things happening, and I believe more and more people are more aware of the topic that we are about to share today. Children with special needs, who are they? Especially after the Korean K drama about an autistic lawyer, and that really get lots of attention, and people start to understand more. But here we are once again, Body Mind Soul. We are always here to impact life positively, to create more awareness with different topics in life, so that we can bring harmony, we can bring inspiration, we can bring hope and love back to our community. So how is everyone doing? If you find this is something special and you would like to share it with your friends, I welcome you and invite you to actually like this live talk and share it out. We are live simultaneously on Facebook as well as YouTube. And before I proceed even further, I have actually done a little research, because today we will be having a registered clinical psychologist joining me, a very pretty lady, very gorgeous girl. Yeah, but before that, I have a few questions that I wish to throw it to the crowd. What makes a child a special needs child, and what is their purpose here? And how about, do you know how can you support them? How many of us know what can we do to empower them? How can we be of help, be of support for this community? And personally, I also have some questions that I'm dying and waiting to ask our specialist later. But before that, let me just share with you a little bit that I would love to invite you for joining us this quarterly workshop that we are running. Free online self-development workshop, the consciousness of wisdom. Priority seats are given to Body Mind Soul community, and it's happening on the 17th of September. You can book your seats right here. That the link has been flashed out. It's free for everyone, of course. Again, priority is given to our community members. But before that, let us just go through, as I was doing this, this topic, and I do a little research, and I found out from UNICEF, not so much on special needs, but it's about disabled children, right? And I'm quite surprised with the findings through the survey of the Malaysian, actually. Over here on UNICEF Malaysia, it says that 58% of Malaysians surveyed feel underinformed about disability. Okay, let's digest this a little bit. 1 in 3 of Malaysians believe children with disabilities should be kept hidden. All right, just digest it a little bit. 43% of Malaysians in our population feel that children with disabilities would be destructive in a mainstream class. And let me ask all of you, what is your view on this? So once again, we go back to our topic today. It's our live talk number 97, children with special needs, who are they? And of course, I'm going to do one thing, which it's been a long time I didn't do this. I'm in a very cold room, so doing this gesture warms me up. So let us warm up our palms together and welcome Ellie Han, our founder of the Happy Leaves Autism and Special Needs Therapy Center. And of course, Ellie is a clinical psychologist. Let's clap, 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 clap. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just got back from work, but overall, I'm good.
And
Yes. Mhm.
all right, all right. So, for a start, I always wish, to have our
Mhm.
guests to introduce yourself a little
Yeah.
bit and let us know why you got into the field that you are here right now. So, Ellie, the stage is yours.
All right. Obviously, my name is Ellie. It's already written there. I'm currently managing a therapy center, and the therapy
Mm-hmm,
center is the Happy Lives. We have two branches,
mm-hmm,
one in Setia Alam and one in PJ branch.
mm-hmm,
Prior to that, it's already like up running for like maybe 5 years. I think it's 5 years down the road.
mm-hmm,
And our my boss is actually a couple, and they have this special needs, an autistic boy with them. So that was the reason they
mm-hmm,
set up the whole center, and that's where I come into the picture and all. Prior to that, I actually worked in the government hospitals before to do all the assessments
Mm-hmm.
and running diagnosis for the child. And then
Mm-hmm.
also going for NGOs. I was attached with NGOs,
Mm-hmm.
again to do therapy works and diagnosis and everything. Basically, that's
Mm.
all. Right now, it's more involved in the child. So that's why this child. That's why I guess you are finding me for the children with special needs talk. I
Yes.
do a lot with supervision, supervising the undergrads and also the master's training, both for a
Mm-hmm.
few universities as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, so I guess so. Do I
All
answer your
right. Yes, yes, of course. And we also welcome our audience if you have any
question?
questions that you would like
Yeah,
to ask. But before that,
yeah,
I personally have a dying question to ask.
yeah, mm,
Once I found out from UNICEF, the first, all the statistics that
mm,
I've shared in the
mm,
opening, the first question that comes to me was,
mm.
how about whether community or all of us know whether there is a difference? Is there a difference between disabled and special needs? So, Ali.
I guess by the words itself, there is a difference. Of course, in practical
Mm-hmm.
thing, it might be a little bit different to say. By the words
Mm-hmm.
itself, disabled would mean someone that is totally impaired on a certain things. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if a person is deaf, that's totally impaired on their hearing. That's called disabled.
Mm.
And then special needs
Mm,
are more or less referred to a scenario whereby this particular person would need an extra care, extra support.
mhm,
That's why they need some
mhm,
special needs, right? They have special needs in that. But that being said, a person who is disabled will already be qualified as special needs because if I'm not able to hear, then I definitely need some device and everything. So I will need a special needs as well. And that
mm,
one right now, I think the issue is that we are also classifying certain kids, certain children that is with developmental disorders like autism, hyperactive. Like there's no issue with their physical and also, but we
mhm.
classify them under disabled and special needs too.
Okay, so I hope this also answer a lot of our questions that we ourselves also
Yeah.
don't know, and yeah, we don't know where to find the right sources to verify these as well.
Mm,
So
mm,
how about Ellie? What are the
mm.
common categories for special needs children? Is
Um,
this the right term politically? Is this the right
yeah,
term to even use
yeah.
to
Actually,
describe
that's
this
fine. That's fine.
community?
Yeah, that's
Mm,
fine. Different community will have different terms and their definition and everything. But let's say
mhm,
in Malaysia, when we call a person with disabled or special needs, literally it's
mm,
like they can qualify for OKU card lah, right? So
mm,
inside the
mm,
OKU card, aside for those physical disability, okay,
mm,
there's this part where we call it as we call it masalah pembelajaran. That means it's learning
mm,
difficulties. That's also qualified
mm,
as disabled. So under
mm,
this category, you will have number one, autism. You will have
mhm,
hyperactive. You have
mhm,
dyslexia, dyscalculia, and
mm,
then if you have a very severe speech delay, that might be also count. We call it
mhm.
global developmental delay now. We don't call it as being intellectually disabled now. So that's a different term.
Sorry, you call it glow?
Global global developmental
Uh-huh.
delay. So we try
Oh, okay.
a nicer way to say, but it's actually like intellectual disabled. So these are a few
Mm,
categories right now
mm,
that Malaysian will have that. Over here in Malaysia, we will classify that under disabled as well.
mhm.
Mm.
Wow. Okay. So that's quite a
Yeah,
lot, and I would
yeah.
say, a lot of times we don't
Mhm.
know the characteristics of
Yeah.
all this
Mm.
different category. There are so many of it that you have just mentioned. Maybe you would like
Yeah.
to pick one or two and can share with our audience some of the characteristics so that
Mm.
parents can pick it up, especially new
Mm.
parents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna say those like very based on the cases road. Of course, the
Mm,
highest is autism right now. It kind of
mhm.
increased like 100% over years. Like from last year to this year, it's like almost a hundred
Ellie,
percent increase.
question. The
Yeah,
increase based on, I mean, this is just a very
yeah.
casual talk. So based on your own view, this
Mm,
increase of 100%, is it
mm.
also because the awareness that more parents are out to reach out for help? So therefore the statistics are more solid in that sense.
I
Well,
mean
what is
that
your view on this?
definitely. I mean personally, that definitely contributes to that. But again, even if that contributes, it shouldn't contribute such a high, such a big difference in a year. It should see gradually like 20-30%. That's how awareness will actually create. But such an increase, such a steep increase, it should be probably just more than that particular reason itself.
Is this something that should be alarming, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
the jump of this autism?
Yes, definitely. It's also alarming worldwide as well, not only in here. So
Oh,
right now, I
wow.
guess the latest is apparently the latest research is 2016,
Mm,
2016, 2017, and that's already like, but that was again that's in US for 8 years old
mm,
generally. It's like already one
mhm,
in 45 or 46, something like that, which is a lot.
mm,
It's a high rate, so it is a
mm,
lot.
mm. By saying that, yeah, is
Mm,
there any, was it any clinical research of what causes this, or,
mm.
is there any cause, or it's just simply as it is,
Until now, we cannot
since we
find
are
a
talking
specific
about?
cause. We cannot find a specific
Mm-hmm,
reason and cause that caused it, right? We only have
mm,
risk factors that will increase the risk and chances of a family having an autism child. They don't
mm,
really have a big cause yet. So again, it's like a mystery thing.
And what kind of the risk that you do you mind to share?
Number one is definitely heredity. So if you have someone in the family that has it,
Mm,
chances
mm-hmm.
are there's an increase of 1 to 2% that you will have another
Wow.
family member that also have, which is really high, isn't it?
Mm,
Yeah. And then if the both parents are a little bit old, okay, for example, in their 40s or even reaching 50s, um,
mm-hmm,
the risk factor is a bit much higher.
mm-hmm,
Then the rest of the things only constitute like about less than a 1%. But this is a few
mm.
things that's a bit more
Okay.
alarming that we will check
Okay.
even during consultation.
Wow. Okay. Let's go back to that characteristics a little bit. So,
Yeah.
how, since you touch base on this, and because this is quite something that is alarming
Mhm.
based on the statistic, that is 100% jump.
Mhm.
And what are the characteristics of autistic person?
If you say autistic, then the biggest characteristic is that they have this issue with social. They have this social
Mm,
communication thing. For
mm,
example, when they were young, it seems like they're
mm-hmm.
having a speech delay. They don't talk, right? But the truth
Okay.
is
They're
that
very quiet and
yeah,
timid.
yeah. But the thing is that maybe I can talk, but I don't want to talk to you. There's nothing that motivates me to tell you what I want. So I will just cry or just hold
Wow.
your hand. So that's lack of social. And then when they grow
Mm,
up, even for those that can talk, they're probably not able to get some of your cold jokes and everything. Um, they
mm,
don't want to talk to you. They feel like if I want
mm,
it, I just want it. It's very literal. If you don't give me,
mm-hmm,
I'm gonna like fight to you and stuff. So these are
mm-hmm,
the characteristics of autism. They are very a lot of things in social is flexible and they're not flexible in a sense. So there you have a lot of
mm,
things that falls under that. For example, when they're very young, oh you I did
mm-hmm,
my child likes to like arrange in a certain way. Uh,
mm-hmm,
but that's because I am not flexible. I'm inflexible. I want it to be like that because it looks good
mm-hmm,
to me and this is my own
mm-hmm.
routine and my rules. And you don't break my rules because if you break my rules and you break that thing, I'll be like screaming and crying and whatever not.
Throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, that throwing a tantrum is not towards the parents, it's just towards themselves.
Mm.
Like, oh, something is not right. I
Ah,
don't feel comfortable. Like with normal child, if I break
mm.
it, the child will throw tantrum to you, right? They will try to
What's
hit
the
you, push
difference
you
when,
away.
because I'm not a parent, so I'm curious where how to differentiate the child is throwing a tantrum to the parents and versus
Yeah.
throwing a tantrum to themselves.
Yeah. So let me give you a quick situations. Usually we will ask things
Mm.
like that. For because autism is a developmental disorder, so a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that you find on the internet line will apply to each and every child. Okay. So for example, I give you a situation, or the child is making Legos. Okay, I'm putting all
Okay.
my red colors, all my blue colors, all very nice routine. Okay, and then I purposely take it one away. And then obviously the child is gonna throw a tantrum or something, right? If the child is normal, the tantrum would be towards you. You took away, the child cries, it will looks at you cry, it probably will push you away. it will bring you
Mm.
away. Sometimes a very slightly more intense one, they will take it and throw to you because I'm angry at you.
Uh-huh.
Or the moment you put it back, give it back to me, I'll put it back. I'm okay
Mm-hmm.
with that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an autistic child, when you remove that, they probably will
Mm.
get a very uneasy feeling, very irritated. It's like things just go
Mm.
wrong. But I will not look
Mm.
at you. My eye contact will not look at you. I just feel like something is broken. But I will not like goes up to you on your eye level and I say, oh, that was you doing that. I don't have that. So I will not have that tantrum towards you. I might not push you. I might just cry and
Wow.
roll on the floor until you put it back.
Ah.
Sometimes they're okay, but sometimes they're not okay still because it's
Mm.
broken. That feeling that I want is broken. And even if you put that after that, it doesn't feel the same anymore. So they will
Wow.
still continue with that crying and all. And whatever you do is not going to help. They will just need that time to release all that
Mm-hmm.
and then slowly they will calm
Mm-hmm.
down. So like
Mm. Mm.
comforting them, like hugging them will not work. So
Mm.
scolding them
Mm.
also will not work. Right. So
Mm.
that's
Okay.
the easiest difference I can say.
Okay,
Mm.
that really makes I would say this example is a very good example that really made
Yeah.
me understand, what's the
Mm.
difference. And Ellie, how long have you been in this field, specifically for special needs children?
Uh, that would like start from practicum, my own practicum onwards. That would
Uh-huh.
spend like 5 to 7 years, somewhere there. Yeah, 5 to 7 years,
Five
somewhere
to
like that.
7 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's quite a long journey, yeah.
Still a long way to go. Still a long
Okay,
way to
so in,
go.
in this in this 5 to 7 years, right?
Mm, mm,
Um, may I ask, do you observe any
mm,
change or
mm,
when it comes to parents that reach out help for you guys, where
mm,
when they suspect,
mm, mm,
their kid may be a special need kid. So
mm.
is there a change or is there what's the changes or how is the attitude or how is their response? How about parents' response towards their children?
Um, this is like a fortunately and unfortunately, because of the
Okay.
MCO that strikes these 2 years, our parents' awareness just raised up a lot. So I have a
Wow.
lot of
Okay.
parents coming in like got worried about like
Mm.
if my child is out of state, is there some speech delay and everything because for the past 2 years they've always been at home and everything. But I guess because
Mm.
there's this MCO, there's a reason to fall onto. So it makes parents easier to accept that, oh, my child might not behaving up to the standard, having some delay, needs some special needs and care and support. So they will reach out more to us
Mm.
and then to
Mm.
check on. So it was quite nice to see that parents right now are not only that they're aware, but they're more
Mm.
accepting, also more receptive in getting all this info and all.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
And with that, is it
Mm.
also because they spend more time with their
Yeah,
children
I
and
guess
that's
so.
where they are able to observe the
Yeah,
patterns and the
yeah.
characteristics of their kids, yeah?
Yeah, and then additional is that even us adults during the MCO, you get locked in yourself in a house, right? It kind of make them feel connected. Like maybe my child feel the same way that I do when I was at home doing nothing, locked there. So us adult will have a lot of emotional turbulence as well. So when you
Mm-hmm.
talk to parents right now, they are more able to connect and relate, which is make a very good. It's a good start, I would say.
Mm. 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 And how about the children when they come to you?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take them to kind of like settle down and
Mm.
get used to you, especially like when you mentioned about autistic,
Mm.
they don't socialize, and I'm
Yeah.
sure based on a lot of
Mhm,
TV dramas
mhm,
it
mhm,
shows to
mhm,
us that when an autistic person go to a
mhm.
new environment, it
Yeah.
really takes some time for them to get used to it. So
Mm,
what's your
mm.
experience, Ellie?
Um, let give you a general idea. When we do consultation, it's about
Mm.
60 to 90 minutes. With about half
Mm.
of the time, we'll be talking with the parents, interviewing them on certain things about the background of the children. Half of the time,
Mm.
will be like interacting with the child one to one, sort of
Mm.
things to get to know them and making them feel comfortable or not. Um,
Mm.
honest speakingly, I can't say for everyone, but honest speakingly,
Mhm.
that 30 minutes is itself, it's enough for you to actually at least start to create a bonding. Uh,
Mm.
the reason is this: every child, inclusive of autistic child or any other children, what you need
Mm.
to do is just to get to their level, to understand why they are behaving certain thing, how their
Mm.
response is. Usually is
Mm.
this: no matter who is the person, even if it's a child or adult, the moment they feel like you kind of understands me, you know what I'm trying to do, then I'll be more opening to you, right? I'll be more open to you. Then there's a lot
Yeah,
more
I'm
interaction.
willing.
Yeah.
I'm willing because you listen to me.
Correct, correct, correct. So you just need to create that ambience. Then
Mhm.
you'll have a lot of interactions coming.
I guess this is a very good example to also let all the parents know, especially whether your child is a special needs or not. Whenever a kid, throwing a tantrum, like what you say just now, scolding them is definitely not going to work. But
Yeah.
oftentimes adults, because of impatience, because of perhaps embarrassment in the public,
Mm,
the first thing is to shut you down. And the more
mm.
you try to shut down a kid, the more the kid rebel the other way. And that's where it creates that cycle, right, Ellie?
Yeah, correct. But I guess if you're talking about adult, sometimes it's
Yeah.
just that in our life, when you grow up, there's so many things happen in your life, right? And then
Mm.
you want to have a problem solving skills that you want to solve it very quickly at that moment so that I can
Fix.
move on to the next thing. So when it comes to your
Yeah.
child crying and everything, the first thing you got to know is like, oh, if I scold, if I say no, if I stop, they will stop straight away. I can problem solve
Mm.
that. And then after we can talk about it. Oh. But the
Mm.
thing is, for the child, it doesn't work that way. I cannot stop at that
Mm.
very moment. I need to cry first, cry all I want first. So there will be that's why you have all this coming. Yeah, it contradicts each other.
Mm.
Mm,
I like this part. I hope all
mm.
the parents out there, or those who are planning to become a parent soon, you would be having this thought in your mind that sometimes children just need to express their emotions in full first before you can talk
Yeah,
sense to them,
yeah.
right?
You need the. I always tell people you need to let the emotions flow before your
Mhm.
verbal expression can come. If I don't know what I'm
Mm.
feeling, I'm not able to tell you what I feel, right? I need to feel it that I'm crying. Then only I can tell you, okay, I'm feeling sad. It doesn't come the other way
Mm.
around. It cannot be I'm
Mm.
feeling sad,
It
then only I cry.
it doesn't make sense that stop crying. Tell me what you want. Huh?
Yeah,
I cannot register the
correct,
children.
correct. Most probably the child would think that I don't know what I want, sort of thing.
Okay, okay. That's good to know. And I
Mm.
guess this apply not just to special needs, but to all children, yeah, Ellie, when it
Yeah,
comes to this part.
correct, correct,
Mm.
correct.
And in your journey so long, is there any touching moments that perhaps really touch your hearts with the parents, with the children in the session?
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, that's a lot to talk about, but one is definitely when
One or
parents.
two.
Yeah, I think one of it, the main one is definitely how the children improve. Like
Mm.
like they being not able to talk until they talk to you, until they will call for a name, like Ellie, hello, or telling you what
Mm.
they want. Or sometimes they will just like rebelliously having some funny jokes with you. I mean, that's still
Oh,
very
they
wonderful.
jokes.
Sometimes they do, and it's really funny. They don't feel it, but I feel funny. Mm. There are times whereby parents are very appreciative. They will actually like um, they will give you foods and everything, and it's really nice.
Mm.
Sometimes we do have this birthday party when a child
Mm.
has birthday, and then the parents would
Mm.
prepare some of the things for other children as well, which is really lovely.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
But of
Mm.
course, yeah, more most of the time it's because of the improvement now. Mm.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Is there any
Mhm.
experience in your time where it
Mm.
really, perhaps demotivate you? Have it ever happened
Yes,
before?
definitely. I think yeah, definitely, definitely. If you have,
Mm.
especially if you come across a case like I say, it's a global developmental delay, It's just
Mhm.
another words of saying the child having intellectual disability. It's very
Mm.
hard to work. It's very, very hard to work. It's like one simple thing that you might want to teach, it will
Mm.
like take around 100 trials until it's success. The child got it already. But if you stop
Mm.
for a month or two, it will goes back to
Mm.
zero again.
Wow.
So that was, yeah, that
Wow.
was really like very demotivating in a sense, very tiring, you know. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, I think so. Those child that's very low IQ, we call it very low IQ scores, are the one that
Mhm.
we know it's a bit hard to work with. Mm.
And for you who might see them once in a week,
Mm.
that you are already feeling
Mm.
demotivated, and sometimes it takes a lot of patience out of you, right? How
Yeah.
about, you know when you were sharing, the first thing that come into my
Mm.
mind is, how about their parents that have to, that facing them, every day, and also
Yeah.
it's a part of them, the
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
comes from a part of them. How is their reaction? How do they talk to their children? How do they look at their children? Do the parents opens up to you as well whenever
Mhm.
there are a chance?
Mhm. Mhm. Most of the time they do because parents will
Mm,
feel like the next person who understand my child and me is you. You're the therapist, right? So usually
mm,
they will opens to you, and it's actually our job as a therapist
mm,
not only to treat the child. Sometimes you need to have this, we call it basic counseling skills that we are training for the parents
mhm,
as well. You need to be supportive because it's a family thing. You need to be supportive.
mm,
Like
mm,
if it's tired for me, it will be like times 100 for them, right? Because
mm,
it's also your own
mm,
child. You feel that pain and everything and all the
mm,
exhaustion. It's like I did so many things, but it's not working. Like even I
mm,
know, but it's still every day someone is telling me that it doesn't work. No matter how
mm,
much you do, it doesn't work. Everyone is giving you a, it's not false hope, it's worse than false hope. They're telling that you no hope at all. So that was very,
mm,
very but as a therapist, how you're gonna support is things like that. Nothing will goes in the drain. If I train 100 times and the child success and it goes back to zero, the next time I train, it probably take 50 trials instead of 100. It's
mm,
just very, very, very slow. It's not like, and that's a ceiling cap. Like they cannot do more than this, but does not mean that whatever below that I cannot do, right? So we just need to
mm.
like switch a perspective a little bit. Mm. Not only to say that the child
It,
is physically able, but you just need to switch
mm,
a certain perspective in looking at things. And
mm,
tell them
mm.
like, oh,
And
even the child not able to like flourish academically, you probably can find
mhm,
anything that fits to the child. I mean, the world needs so many
mm,
people, not only those with lawyer and doctors and whatever notes. The world needs a
mm,
lot more people than that. So he could be someone else. He or she can be someone else that's gonna be useful. And I think for parents, they just need to
mm,
find like, what can I do? What can I
mhm,
share to my children for them to be
mhm,
having a purpose in life or be useful? And then that should be fine.
mm.
Mm.
How about, as you are talking and sharing with this, um, I guess none of us can truly understand being in a family as such. Does it impact the rest of the children? Let's
Mm.
say the special needs has siblings,
Mm. Mm.
how's the impact in the family
Mm.
dynamic in that sense?
Right. Thank you for asking that question. So I actually love that, because I
Mm,
would like to also tell everyone, the parents, if you
mm,
happen, for what I see over the years, the truth
mm,
is, if you happen to have a siblings, I mean, you happen to have a child with special needs, especially
mm,
autism, it
mhm,
really helps if you have another siblings. Not because that you want to have someone else, but the other siblings will be the best playmate, the best support
mhm,
system, the best therapist for that child. It really works
mm,
so well. For especially for a child with autism, having a
mhm.
sibling, it's definitely a really plus point. They
How
they
how
get
how it how does it work?
um because when it comes to siblings, when they grow up together, right? The first thing that comes to siblings' eyes, they wouldn't think that their siblings is autistic. they will think like just another normal kid. So I would treat him or she like a normal kid as well. I will fight, I will talk, I will just like keep bugging you for things and everything. And somehow this, because we are almost the same level, we are the same height and
Mm,
whatever. So this autistic child, they will sooner or later, they are adapting it that
mm,
is actually normal. So when they go to school, they have tons of friends and child running around like their siblings. They're actually okay. They actually can accept that. They don't find
mm,
that much of a. They don't find so many disturbance and interference and all, which is a good thing.
mm,
They learn through their siblings, which I think that's
mm,
a good
mm,
thing. Of course, for the siblings itself, they also learn that special need is just like that, nothing more than that. Or it's not some myth
mm,
like they're not talking to me or I talk something they will hit me. So the siblings will be like, oh, it's just like that. Yeah,
mm, mm,
unless
mm, mm,
this is a additional point on,
mm,
unless the family makes a very big difference in giving support between the two, like telling, oh, this kid with special needs has to be treated very differently, and you need to do
mm,
a lot more on stuff. So unless things like that happen, then the family
mm,
dynamic might be a little bit off balance, or else
mhm,
it's
mhm,
wonderful to have siblings.
mm. Have you
Mm.
come across, problems like that, that perhaps a little bit off balance, that they,
Yeah,
perhaps parents put on weight to the non-special needs, to, you have to take care, you have to protect your
yeah,
sibling, things
happens
like
all the.
that.
This usually doesn't
Ah,
happen to autistic children, but it happens to like you have a big notorious children child at home, and then you put all the
mm-hmm,
focus on this notorious child, saying that, oh, you cannot
mm-hmm,
do this, you cannot do that. I'm gonna give you some more support. You go for therapy, okay, whatever. And then, but in our eyes, sometimes we get to see like the maybe another sibling, which seems to be great and wonderful, it's having issues, and we will actually flag that out to the parents, saying that you might also want to like keep an eye on the other child because we see that
mm,
coming, that maybe the child
mm,
is suppressing a lot of things, that he's actually a bit emotionally imbalanced already. So we will actually flag that out to parents. But
mm.
usually parents are
And
receptive. Yeah.
how would you,
Mm-hmm.
so you have kind of shared quite a few challenges that
Mm-hmm.
faced by
Mm-hmm.
parents with special needs child, and even in their family. How can
Mm-hmm.
the parent balance it up?
Mm-hmm.
Their love, their care, their nurture in the family itself, because special needs, the term itself have already said it needs special attention, special additional help, right? So of course the parent will tend to turn more focus towards that particular
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what would your advice be for them,
Um,
for parents?
this boils down to what we call like people having a democracy. It's like, what does fair mean to you? Does giving a book and giving B a book means fair? Or you giving A book because he likes to read and you giving B a toy because he can play more? You know what I mean? So
Mm,
it's somewhere in between like that. I think parents will have to understand that we are all human. There will always be one that you kind of care a little bit more. The other one you feel
mm,
love more. The other one you feel like I want to, take care of them more or whatever. It's normal and
mm,
it's fine. There's no such thing as total fairness. I think parents would have to
mm,
understand first, right?
mm,
Second thing
mm,
is that you don't need to 100% justify why you're doing certain things with this particular child and not that. It's just that
mm,
whatever you're giving and offering, it
mm,
it kind of applies to that particular child, and that's fine. So if that particular
mm,
child is autistic and he needs more playtime together because of that, I think that's fine. And maybe the other child doesn't need such a long playtime, but you will still give it
mm,
maybe like 30 minutes, but it's all quality time that you're giving, and that's totally fine. And
mm,
that
mm.
would
And
actually
I
help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this sharing, because I did ask my mom,
Mhm.
I have two, I mean, my house, three of us, the
Okay.
kid, I'm the
Mhm.
eldest, and I have two younger brothers. I did
Mhm.
ask her like once before, you know how did you balance that fairness of your love for all three of us?
Yeah.
You
Oh.
know, when I reached my adulthood, I asked her that, you know, Ellie,
Mm,
and she said, "There's
yeah.
no such I can balance."
Yeah. No such. Yes, there's no such
There's no
thing.
such thing. Somehow or other, you will kind of like, you know, kind of like the best song, you know, the Malay word, the best song, like
Yeah,
you will just
yeah,
go
yeah,
towards
yeah,
one side, you know, and it depends on the situation. Sometimes it's you, sometimes is your brother, sometimes it's your
yes,
youngest brother, and it
yeah,
depends on the situation. So I guess
yeah.
this is also something that all parents, especially new parent, to have this wisdom in mind as well. Yeah.
Correct,
um
correct.
you know, when we do this, you know,
Mm,
how about when we talk about in a family dynamic, I
mm,
believe, you know, the adults
mm,
attitude is very,
mm.
very important.
Yeah.
uh when their attitude, right, do if they
Mm,
see it as a problem, you know,
mm.
will it make it worse
If they
to in
see
your
it as
entire therapy session?
mm,
Yeah, if they see this kid,
mhm,
you
mhm,
know, let's not talk about autistic or autism, but like maybe other special needs
right. Mhm, mm.
categories.
I mean, interestingly, I think even in
Mm-hmm.
other special needs category, like okay, except for hyperactive, because hyperactive it will be like really Marobo my family of the things there. But generally, interestingly, most parents will not find the child having an issue or problem because no matter how it is, it's still my child. I still love, right? So a lot of things that
Mm,
the child did might not be an issue to me. It will only
mm,
be an issue when I bring the child out and other family members, my friends, the community is telling me that, oh, your child has such a big issue, there's a problem, blah, blah. That starts to make the parents feel stressed. Like, oh, my
mm,
child is not behaving like what they think he or she should. That's where it starts to
mm,
have all these problems coming in. So when I go
mm,
home, when I close the door, I will start telling my child, oh, you have to be like that, you have to be like that. Oh, because
mm,
if you don't do that, you don't do such a thing when we go out, people will
mm,
think something else, they will think the other way and
mm,
giving me a lot of words and everything.
mm.
But parents themselves,
It,
usually they are okay.
so since you have come to that, let me just ask, you know, what
Yeah.
can we as a community
Mm-hmm.
do to
Mm-hmm.
help or be a form of support
Mm-hmm. I
to this
think
yeah.
that's definitely a very huge question.
Mm,
I can't say for the whole community, obviously. I only can say for
mm,
myself, my point of view.
mm.
If I'm one of the
Yeah.
community and I saw that
Yes.
community,
Yeah.
of course, the first and foremost is to not not be too quick in judging, not be too quick in offering help because they might not need the help. What they need maybe is just the space and the freedom
Mm,
for them to do
mm,
whatever they needed in during that community time or that public open space. For example, you see
mm,
some child crying. I can't be sure every child crying has issues with special needs. So
mm,
sometimes we just need to give that space and time to think that it's okay without giving it extra attention, which
mm,
really helps. If
mm,
it's needed, whereby the child is hurting himself or hurting the parents, then maybe we can just like ask, is there anything that I can help? What do you need of
mm,
me? Just
mm,
never too quick in judging what you can help. We should always ask like, what do you want me to help? Maybe they would just tell you, I just need a cup of water or something else. So then I'll get you that.
mm,
A lot of times the community are too quick. We want to help with a good heart, but we are too quick in offering like what I think is good for you, which is not the right thing to do.
mm. And you are advising that, you know, we should understand, find
Yeah.
out first, and
Yes.
the best thing is always ask, you know, what
Yes.
kind of help you need, what kind of support you want
Correct.
us to do.
Yes.
I see.
Correct. Yeah. And that will makes all the difference.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
We did talk a little bit about, you know, talk we kind of like share quite a lot
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
autism or
Yeah.
autistic.
Mm-hmm.
How about hyperactive children? You know,
Hyperactive.
hyperactive children,
Yeah.
even in public eyes, they see them
Mm.
as naughty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
destructive,
true.
disaster.
Mm.
So what are the challenges that the parents are facing when their child is being diagnosed as hyperactive, and what can
Hyperactive.
they do?
For
Mm,
hyperactive, that's two major things. One is called
mm,
hyperactivity, whereby I will keep moving and everything. The reason they keep moving is this: my sensory stimulation is a bit off balance. For example, this occurs like you are somebody, you touch a little bit, oh, very pain. For somebody, you massage so hard and they say, oh, I don't feel a thing at all. So hyperactive is more
mm.
like the other one. You touch very hard, but they don't feel nothing. They will feel nothing. So they will actually
Oh,
seek for that more. That's why they run a lot more. Even they hit
mm.
little things, they don't feel painful. But once they fell,
Ah,
like really pain, and then because I feel it now, I feel it already, so I will stop. And then after that, the pain goes over away, the sensation off
mm,
again, they will go and seek for again. So that's
mm,
hyperactivity. Usually that's what happens. So they will run a lot, they throw things a lot, they want that sensation that's heightened up. Then the other part of it is what we call inattention. Like I
mm.
wouldn't be able to look at you like that. I will go like ding ding ding. So this is inattention. I cannot really
Oh,
focus. So that
oh,
happens especially when you want to read certain books, they will jump a lot. Like I will miss the whole sentence at all. That's called
mm,
inattention. That's two. So if they're inattention, it's a bit subtle. You wouldn't realize that. People will just come to you like,
mm,
"Oh, my child cannot focus in a classroom. The academic is bad." Something like that. Okay,
mm,
it's subtle.
mm,
For the hyperactive one, then it's very obvious. They run around and
mm,
everything, isn't it?
mm,
So that will make parents a bit more tired because you have to like keep saying,
mm,
no, no, sit down. And then
mm.
the next big question people will ask is that, oh, so if my child watch iPad, watching computer, does that make my child hyperactive? Or, does that help my hyperactive child?
Mm.
um, so in order to understand that question is that if you're born hyperactive, then it will just heighten up. Okay. There are certain kids nowadays are not born with
Mm.
hyperactive. It's just they watch so many gadgets until they become hyperactive. So it does happen.
Oh, so
You know, the
so
reason
it does happen
yeah,
when
yeah,
you let the child watch too much or use too much gadget. What is the logic behind,
okay.
Ali?
Okay, the quick logic is this. Watching movie doesn't count. Watching YouTube and movie doesn't count. What really counts is interactions with the gadget, like playing games. Very young. But nowadays, because iPad
Mm,
sure got some interactions going on, right?
mm,
Is that very quick response. When I touch something, and then it will immediate response, right? Or even if I
mm,
watch a lot of YouTube, a lot have to be a lot, right? Usually
mm.
you realize that your movie screens, right, from morning, one screen is night, the next screen will be morning already. The time goes very fast inside the movie, right? I watched 2 hours
Mm,
movie, but then the movie tell me the 100 years sort of thing story.
mm,
The frame
yes,
goes
yes.
very very
Okay.
fast. Okay, so
Yeah.
when I stop, in my reality, it goes very very slow. I cannot just like have one food and then I'm already in the kitchen. That's impossible. So that difference
Ah,
in timing will make me myself wanted to be quick because I'm used to that very fast response.
the
But
rhythm.
yeah, but in reality, I'm not that fast. Especially as children, right? I will like stumble
Mm,
here and there. So you
mm,
have a lot of frustrations because I'm not that fast actually. And when I want
mm.
thing from you, I want code, mommy, the code must be here shoo, straight away. But that's not possible. I'm not a magician, right? I need to go and
Uh,
take to open. But for them, they cannot wait anymore. They are not used to it anymore. I'm used to looking at that thing. I press, it's already there. But in reality, it's not
because
like
they
that.
can't differentiate reality. Because to them, whatever their experience
Yeah.
through the gadget, it is their reality
Yeah.
already.
So your biological clock inside, it's already messed up. So you have a lot of this
Mm.
kind of children, they are really attached to gadgets or hyperactive in a way. You realize their
Mhm.
sleeping pattern is never good. Not very good.
In what sense? In what sense?
Like maybe they couldn't fall asleep very easily and quickly, or they don't fall into
Mm.
very deep sleep, or they like sleep wake up sort of thing. or they don't want to sleep at all. So you realize the sleeping pattern is not that, it's just not that healthy lah, in a way. Mm.
If whenever, I mean, let's focus on those who are not
Yeah.
born, but
Yeah.
because of lifestyle and it kind of
Mhm.
like become hyperactive.
Mhm.
What would,
Mhm.
when a parent come to you, right? What is the first advice that you will let them, or you will share with them?
If it's gadget wise, I
Mm.
always tell, I love your questions. I really do. Because I always tell parents this. Parents will think that, okay lah, then I will stop gadgets, cannot touch it all. Then they will be fine. But I need to tell parents this thing. We are 21st century already. When you go out, all of your friends is holding that phone and gadgets and iPad, and they're playing all the Roblox and Minecraft. So if your child don't play, the child also don't have friend. That's the truth. Okay. Also have friend, right?
Okay.
So that I will not be able to socialize. But social is a very good thing,
Mm,
right? What you need to
mm,
teach your child is this: he or she can play, but he must be have that self control to stop. All you need to
mm,
do is to teach that part. You can play. You tell me from what time to what time. Have we agreed on a certain time? Can you stop that and give it back to me, and not overload that?
mm,
So you can still have
mm,
that. So by that, you teach a lot more things. Like we teach about discussion. We can actually discuss and
mm,
negotiate some terms. We teach like the
mm,
self control from the child when they can actually stop themselves and give back to me. So there's no
mm,
addiction involved anymore. It's not
mm,
addicted anymore because they can stop,
mm,
right? So
mm,
these
mm,
are all
mm,
the things that you can actually slowly, it's not really teaching, but guide your child to do. So that will
mm.
help a lot more than just having your child being hyperactive. Or yeah.
Mm. And from your this part, I realized that often a lot of our parents, or even I myself, when you're saying
Mm.
this, it's like we just, again, it goes back to something that you have shared early on. We just want a quick fix, and then
Yeah.
that's it. That's why you come about the thought that, hey, I'm just gonna cut you off from the
Yeah, I'm
gadget, and
just
that's it.
carry
You will
you
be
off,
fine.
and then we'll solve the problem straight away, right? Or at that moment I ask you to stop. Okay, let's stop right now and we are ready to go. And then when I say stop, you got to stop straight away. And then we go. But you will have kids
Mm.
telling you that, but if I stop now, I'll die in the game. Can you give me like 5 minutes? But usually parents are like,
Mm.
no, no,
So
no, we have to go now. No, no, no. So you have a
so what
lot of
would your advice?
usually for me, I usually would tell my kids like, okay, that's like I'm going to go soon, like in maybe about like maybe 10 minutes, you like look
Mm.
at it. Then usually say, okay. So when it reaching that 10 minutes, I'll say things like, okay, 1 minute more, and then you're done, and then we're just gonna go. And of
Mm.
course the key point is this: when the child needs to stop, you don't snatch away, you don't take it away. You make it a habit for the child to stop and give it to you. You want to build that authority. So not like
Oh, so
asking the
what's
child to
the
stop,
difference?
snatch it away.
What's the difference?
You don't
Well,
want the
what
child
what
to
is, yeah.
yeah, this is just like I want to build a self authority thing, that you are stopping because you want to stop, you choose to stop and give it back to me. So you have the control. I'm telling you that you have the control and you choose to stop. It's not me telling you that I'm snatching it away from you.
It's
So sooner
like
or later,
you are showing the child you
yeah,
actually make the choice
yes,
on
yes,
your own.
correct.
Ah.
So sooner or later, even though I'm not at home, I will just say things like, "You only can play for that 1 hour. Just make sure that you do." So when I check, usually they will stop because they're already clear with that. They're okay with that
Mm,
of stopping.
mm,
So that's how we
mm,
build things. How we kind of like guide the child. Yeah,
mm,
because sooner or
mm,
later
mm,
they will have to learn when they grow up, like things to say no to. They must be
mm,
able to control themselves. Yeah. So
mm,
these are
mm,
the basics, yeah, that will help.
mm. And one more question when it comes to
Yeah.
hyperactive,
Yeah.
kids.
Mm.
Uh, what can the parents do
Hmm.
when they bring the hyperactive kid to public? What is their attitude towards, I'm sure people will look at them,
Yeah, yeah,
or people
definitely.
will gossip at the back, or like with a kind of a stare. Usually if a parent's heartbroken, or very
Mm.
tired of all these things, all the judgment that they receive, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes it was really unintentional from the crowd.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
happened to look at them because it was
Yeah.
causing a scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would your, to those who are actually listening to you and they do
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
active or hyperactive kids, what would your piece of advice for the parents?
There's a few things. One is that you can prepare the child before you're going out, saying that we're going
Mm,
out to this place. Well, take some time, 5 minutes, okay, to show the kid like where we're going. Nowadays we have the phone, right? So show them in advance how does the place look like. Then they won't feel like wow, go there, wow, and then they run away. At least you give an idea what does this place look like, what they
mm,
have over there, what you cannot touch, what you can do and what. Just go through with it. There's very simple social rules on that for that place before you bring them out.
mm,
Then you can set things like so if you go there, these don't set very long rules, just have 2 or 3 will do. These are 2 or 3
mm,
rules that we want to like abide to when we go. And
mm,
if you're okay with that, maybe give them a reward, of course. Maybe you can buy
mm,
some food there that you like or whatever, things like that.
mm,
So and if you don't, then you don't have to that food and drinks or some things like that.
mm,
And you when you
mm,
reach there, for example, when you reach there, if your child is hyperactive, try to give them something in the hand already, maybe in a pocket, in the hand, or whatever. Because hyperactive, we are
what is
sensitive.
that something?
It can be anything. You can ask the child to choose. It can be their fidgety toys, it can be their ball, it can be their whatever they
Mm,
want. Literally,
mm,
just to
mm,
make them having that constant sensory on their hand so that they don't
mm,
run. Because running
mm,
is sensory seeking. So you want something that's already in the hand that give you that sensory thing. So usually the
mm,
child would be more stable. They will be more stable. They don't just run away like
mm,
that. So for
mm.
example,
Ellie, talking about having something in their hand,
yeah.
why do hyperactive kids want this sensation, or they just need to have something? Why do they
Mm.
need that? Yeah.
Just like what I say, like we want that they want that constant thing happening to my body. In a way, you can say that they love themselves very much. In a way, they want that constant feeling that oh, it's happening, it's feeling it, and it calms me down. Actually, it calms them down.
Ah,
So if they don't have,
ah,
sometimes you're just uneasy with a lot of people looking at you, and you just want to move. That kind of
mm.
feeling, more or less that kind of feeling. So I need to move. So if I don't move,
So
I
they
feel
are
very
just more heightened and hyper with that
yeah.
sensation, like people
Correct,
looking at
correct.
me, I just want to move.
Yeah, that's why it's called
Ah,
hyperactive, right? So it's always
mm,
hyper
mm,
means it's already more than normal. So they have a slightly more than normal sensation seeking. So to us,
mm,
it's like that's too much. But to them, like this is
mm,
my normal. And if it's less than
mm,
that, I will feel very uncomfortable. So that's what
mm.
happened most of the time. Mm.
Mm. Ellie, you know what? Through your sharing, right, I
Mm.
realized a few things that you've been sharing about
Mm.
parents, their attitude and things like that.
Mm.
I realized one thing. The main thing is the pacing, that the
Yeah.
parents need to have the patience to pace the kid, their
Mm.
kid, and the patience to explain to them, to prep
Mm.
them, and of course, the patience for themselves to go through that process, and in order to guide and shower love for their kids, whether it's autism, whether it's whether it's hypertension, hyperactive, as long as
Mm.
they are falls under special needs, I believe there is something, for the parents to learn. And Ellie,
Mm.
since our title is special needs children with
Mm.
special needs, who are they?
Mm.
How about what are they here to teach us? In your experience, I'm sure you yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's a good question.
Mm,
This will be my personal answer, not to say
yes.
anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess it links back to the body mind soul thing. I
Mm,
believe that sometimes they are here to teach you something. They are here to make you aware of something, and that makes all the difference in your life. I like how Malay would say it. Some Malay would just say, that their child is the gift of God. They are here to teach you, to let you be the parents and teach you how to be a parent. I guess the same goes with special children with special needs. They're here to teach us, to teach the whole community, like how would you really socialize and communicate with certain people, with everyone, to be more empathetic, to see the purpose in bringing up them. I guess that really speaks to me.
How about you personally? What have you learned from all these different kids that have comes to you? What is the main thing that you really,
Um,
take it to your heart?
mm, because the thing is, I don't really see them as very much special needs. I'll still treat them like a normal kid. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I can tell one thing is that from all the kids that I have worked with before,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you do the right thing, they will improve. They will still give you a response, no matter what kind of disabilities or special needs they are. You just need to
Mm,
be genuine in teaching and telling them. Yeah, so that will
mm,
answer your question. It's like, as long as you give them your naked heart in a way, you will have that
mm.
response. You will have that response. You just need to go straightforward and honest and just be naked, and it's fine. Mm.
I guess if they have yet to respond, it's just that we haven't found the right way.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. Which is true. Which is true. I mean, same goes when it goes into therapy sessions. I always tell people the more open you are, the more things you're gonna bring back. So same
When
goes
you
with
say open,
mm,
what do you
mm.
mean by open?
Like if I'm doing adult sessions, then it will be
Mm,
things like the more you're able to share about yourself, the more whatever nice secret, dark secret, whatever secret lah. Okay,
mm,
the more we are able to process, the more that you're gonna bring home, the more you can change and self growth and everything. So it's like
mm.
the more that you open up to yourself, be more, yeah,
Honest.
yes, authentic. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Mm,
Same goes
mm.
with the special needs children.
Beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful. And
Mm.
if any of us adults that we can be
Mm.
more open in that sense, be honest, and if we feel like crying in front of the kids, we can,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Of course, that's
Yeah.
also boiled down. If the kid really gets into your nerve and you want to be angry, that's also fine. They also need to learn that this behavior is inappropriate. It's fine. It's really fine too. You don't need to be like like I'm a wonderful 100% good parent. That's fine. You can cry. That means you can be angry
Mm,
too. But at the same
mm,
time, you should also be able to express love. That's all.
mm, mm,
Mm.
mm. And before we really comes to an end,
Yeah. Mhm.
two more questions, Ellie.
Yeah.
One is from your personal experience and your observation,
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
is Malaysia coming
Uh-huh.
up dealing with, special needs kids or coping with special needs children?
Mm. Honestly, the government is trying very hard. No matter the
Mm,
Ministry of Health or Education, they are really trying very hard. They
mm,
collect data, they try to build schools, they try to work around it. They have all this PPKI going on, which is great. I think
mm,
um, the thing is this: even though there's so many supports, but we are very much lacking of manpower, like people that really works in this field, whether that's a
mm,
special needs teacher or therapist. There's a
mm,
lot of center blooming out and everything, but we have very
mm,
very few that um, they have appropriate qualifications, I would say,
mm,
or they
mm,
have enough experience. They are not
mm,
trained a lot, and
mm,
that boils down to a lot of our university are not able to give the course, relevant course for them to study. Of course, right
mm,
now, I think a few like help, like tailors, they are building this course right now for bachelors, which is really nice to see. Hopefully, that will make some
mm,
change in a few years' time. That we will have more
mm.
trained therapists and teachers around. Yeah,
Mm, that's good to see.
yeah,
From I would say 10 years ago, that no one
yeah.
no one knows where to find support, especially It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that now the 100% jump, right? Just now you mentioned in the
Mm.
beginning, the 100% jump, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in
Mm.
the past.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the
True.
past, where can they go to? The parents, where can they go to? What kind of
Yeah.
therapy can they search? I'm sure the
Mm-hmm.
parents back in the days have been,
Mm-hmm.
suffering or have been having
Mm.
this as a big challenge, right? And
Yeah.
to know that more causes
Mm.
and government is working towards it to provide the right facilities, the right skills, and the right talent to
Yeah.
facilitate the
Yeah.
therapy session, that is a good
Mm.
thing to know. Ellie,
Yeah.
one more last question. And this
Mm.
is a
Sure.
question that I always throw to our guests,
Oh,
wherever,
is
whatever
it?
topic.
Okay.
So if it's a last, what is the last takeaway that you would like to share to everyone when it comes
Mhm.
to children with special needs? Especially you mentioned you never see them as children with special needs.
Mhm. Mhm.
What would be
Mhm.
your last shout out from the bottom of your heart?
Hmm. That's a good question. Hmm. Last takeaway for this topic.
Mm,
Um, I would always suggest. I think I would suggest a lot of things where whether a parents or teachers or therapists, if you come across such a children, whether the children need special needs or not, I think all you need to do is that don't act immediately. You can just take some time for yourself before you decide on what you want to do. It's fine. Just don't go immediately. You saw a kid crying, you immediately go and hug and stuff. Actually, you don't need to. You can wait for a while. Same goes with
mm,
normal kids as well. Everything else that you see, if you're unsure, you can just give yourself like 5 to 10 seconds before you do anything else. I think that would
mm,
help a lot of things. We just, I
mm,
think nowadays, a lot of people in the community, especially those in the
mm,
city area, right?
mm.
Sometimes you just need to like chill a little bit, you know, let yourself wait for a while. I mean, a lot of people are doing this, obviously. That's why a lot of people are going for glamping, this and that. Because I think
Mm,
somehow the inner self of yourself knows it. You need that time, you need that break. And
mm,
I guess and I'm just here to tell you that, it's okay to have that break. It's really okay to have that break.
And I love this very, very much, to kind of like pause
Mm.
and observe
Yeah,
and ask.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love how you put
Okay. So today has been a very fruitful conversation that we had. We
Mm.
really dive in a lot, and there is a comment over here. Happy Saturday, Christina and the team of Body Mind. So thank you, Susie.
Mm.
And yes, so well, I would say, there are a lot of
Mm.
pointers, a lot of tips along the way Ellie has been sharing with us, whether it's special needs, and we did talk a lot of about autistic, in the beginning of the live talk, and then we
Mm.
kind of like focus a little bit on hyperactive. And we
Mm.
hope, with all the tips that been shared by Ellie, it can be practiced to all children. Doesn't
Mm.
mean it's only for special needs, right? And of
Yeah.
course, for those of you who have questions and you would like to contact or connect with Ali, you can liaise with her directly or through their Facebook page, The Happy Leaves, which is the center, the therapy center. And of course, Ellie did mention they have a lot more other services that they offer. And of
Mhm.
course, it's all professionally trained. Yeah. So you can check them out on their Facebook, as well as if you want to, you can reach out to us as well. We will definitely connect you with Ellie. And with that, I say, you know what, thank you, Ali. It has been a very, very
Thank you.
pleasure, having this conversation with you. And I learned so much
That's my
about
pleasure too.
everything. Yeah. And I believe everyone, exists on earth. There is a purpose, and they are
Yeah.
here to send a gift to all of us. And if, like what you say in the beginning, if we can just change the perspective a little bit,
Mm.
change the expectation a little bit, or tweak, the expectation
Mm.
a little bit, I'm sure we will definitely find a way to communicate and to live together with
Mm.
everyone in the world. So with that, I'll say thank you, everyone,
Thank
and
you,
have a good
everyone.
weekend. Yeah, and happy Mooncake Festival very soon. Happy Mid Autumn to you as well, Ellie.
Thank
And
you.
goodbye. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.